a short story by a Form 5 student of Kisas. I hope you will enjoy this as much as I do. Thank you.
Josie Sherwood was a pretty young girl of age 9. She was the sweet pie of the Sherwoods. Boys had been head over heels with her and girls had been dreaming to be her best friends. She got all the fame and glamour, but there was one thing her family just could not stand with. Josie was a food waster. She would never finish her food. Instead, she would throw them when the food was about one half eaten. It was a habit, she said. Yes, a very bad habit indeed. One day, Mr. Buckley had made a homemade pizzas and gave them to the children for free. His pizzas was the best in the neighborhood and it was a lucky day for the children. Josie Sherwood, of course, had been there, too, and Mr. Buckley's homemade pizzas was one of her favorites.
Don't take a slice of the pizzas,
Josie.
you will just throw them away,
growled Priscilla. She loved being friends with Josie, but had hated her habit.
I won't. I love Mr. Buckley's pizza.
Josie said. She took a slice of the food and began eating them. It was the most wonderful feeling ever. When she had eaten it for about one half, she did not have the desire to finish it as she was full. She threw the pizza into the bushes.
God, I know you would throw it. You are a monster, Josie. A food waster,
Yelled Chris. Everybody was mad with her. Josie had never seen her friends went mad like that, so she ran home, tears trickled down her cheeks. She was hurt. It was just a pizza after all. Why would they be so angry about it? Why couldn't they tolerate it? She ran up the stairs and flung her body onto her bed and cried. Slowly she fell asleep. It was 8 p.m. when Josie awakened. Her stomach rumbled and she knew she needed to feed it. She went down the stairs into the kitchen and called for her mom. There was no response. She called for her mom again and there were complete silence in the air. Josie thought her mom was out, so she opened the refrigerator, hoping to find some food to eat. It was shocking to find the refrigerator empty. No food, no drink. Impossible, Josie thought. How can it be so empty when it was so full in the morning as Mom took out a packet of raw sausage to cook for breakfast? Josie walked out and went to see her neighbor, Mrs. Longtown. She knocked her door and not a single response was to be heard. The door was locked but the light was on. She went to Mrs. Downer's house and found out that Mrs. Downer was also not at home. The whole thing was getting a bit weird and it freaked her out. Crunk! Crunk! Her stomach rumbled louder and she could not stand the pain. Nobody was at home and all of her neighbors were nowhere to be found. Plus, she was hungry. She patted her belly before walking towards the playground. As she was getting near, she heard a laugh. An evil laugh, coming from the playground. Her step became faster as she was eager to know the source of the evil laugh. Josie stood still as she discovered the source of the laugh. She was petrified as she had seen a monster with body, hands and feet but completely headless in front of her. It was Mr. Pizza, whom she had thrown away this morning.
Why did you do this to me? Why did you throw me away? Why didn't you finish me? Why, Josie? Why don't you answer us?
The monster said. Us? Josie stammered and her heartbeat had almost stopped as there were another figure walking up behind Mr. Pizza. They were Mr. Apple, Mr. Drumstick, Mr. Crab, Mr. Orange, Mr. Pie. The list were endless. Josie stumbled over a stone and she could not say a word. She closed her eyes with the hope that when she opened them, the nightmare would have ended. But it did not.
Why do you do this to us? You had broken our hearts by not finishing us. You are torturing us, Josie. Now we will eat you so you will not eat us anymore.
The monsters kept repeating the words. Josie closed her ears. She could not bear to hear them. It scared her. Mr. Apple had opened his mouth and Josie screamed. I would never throw away my food. I will eat them until they are finished. I promise, Mom, I promise, cried Josie, hugging her mom. Mrs. Sherwood was speechless with Josie's behavior. She was checking on Josie a moment before, and when she saw the sweat on Josie's face, she woke her up. And that was when Josie flung her arm around Mrs. Sherwood's neck and echoed the words again and again. The next day, Madame Panfrey baked a chocolate cake, and hers was the best in the neighborhood. The children played in her yard and she called them for an evening tea. They felt so glad and happy. Josie took a piece of the cake and started eating it.
If you are to waste this one piece of cake, I'm going to hit you in the head,
Wyatt threatened. To their surprise, Josie did finish her cake and she did not have to be hit on the head. Everybody was amazed and shocked by her accomplishment. Josie did learn that wasting food was a very bad habit, and she was glad that she had changed before things began to get worse. The best part of all was that Mr. Apple did not want to eat her anymore because she had eaten him, the whole of him.